So after playing quite a few hours of DMZ in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, or I guess it's part of Warzone 2.0 technically, it's all part of the same kind of platform, if you will, I got some thoughts and impressions about DMZ. Now, there's a lot of potential for this game mode, and there's a lot of fun that could be had with it, but there's also some problems with it. And I'm going to be talking about, the big problem with DMZ in this video as of right now. Now, before we jump into that, I do understand, I know there's already going to be people saying, pointing this out, I do understand that it is technically in beta. Like, it actually says beta on it. There's a little beta logo, icon, whatever. I get that, I understand that, but I'm still just talking about what the problem is right now as of launch, as of right now. So again, there's a lot of stuff that I think it does have potential kind of going for it, but we're talking as of launch. First of all, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below if you guys have played it yourselves. Again, it's one of those game modes that a lot of people were anticipating because, it had that kind of escape from Tarkov element, but, placed in Call of Duty. And although I haven't played a lot of Escape from Tarkov, I have a buddy who's played a lot of it, and I've seen a bunch of it as well. And so I get a little bit of an idea and of a sense, obviously, what the game's like. And this DMZ is like the very, 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 and I could say very quite a few more times, bare minimum of what, a game like Escape from Tarkov would be. Now, I'm not expecting this game to be Escape from Tarkov. If anything, I don't want it to be exactly like that, but the formula, the general idea would be nice if it was at least a lot closer to that than it is right now. Because right now, when you jump into DMZ, and again, I understand it's beta. These are just my thoughts and impressions right now, my critiques, if you will. So just bear with me. But as of right now, there's not a lot to really go for. I mean, you go into the game, and basically the way it's formatted is there's a bunch of bots, right? There's a lot of bots around kind of, watching over strongholds and different kind of, POIs and locations, things like that. But then you also have some real enemies, some other players, right? So there's PvE and PvP. Now, it's more heavily based on like PvE than it is PvP. So there's more AI enemies that you're going to encounter than there is, actual teams. And that's kind of the idea, right? Again, going to like Escape from Tarkov, that's kind of the idea of that kind of game mode, right? Is that you're trying to loot some stuff. You're trying to get as much loot as you can and get out of there. Now, the thing is with a game like Escape from Tarkov, there's so many layers to it, right? You have different kinds of armor, different levels of armor, right? You have different kinds of weapons, different kinds of ammunition for the weapons. And again, Escape from Tarkov is super, super in-depth, and I don't expect DMZ to get that in-depth. I would actually prefer it if DMZ was a little bit more, I guess, friendly to newcomers, not as daunting and not as steep as a learning curve as a game like Escape from Tarkov. But I would still like them to, kind of capture that general feeling, that general, I guess, kind of element and formula of, what makes people love Escape from Tarkov so much. And it just seems to be lacking that for the most part, at least as of launch right now. So again, as of right now, if you jump into a game, the idea, right, is you have contraband weapons. Now, the game will start you off and they'll give you like 3 contraband weapons roughly before you actually ever play your first game. And the way contraband weapons work is you bring them into the game, right? And if you bring a contraband weapon into the game and you die, you're going to lose that weapon in DMZ permanently. Don't worry, you're not going to lose it in Warzone, and you're not going to lose it in multiplayer. You're good to go on that front. But you're going to lose it in the game. And so the basic premise, I guess, is that if you want to get that weapon back, you're going to have to find it in game somehow, some way. Now, there is an insurance slot. So you get 3 insured slots, but 2 of them are closed until you complete tier 3 of every faction. And then insurance slot number 3 is unlocked when you complete tier 5 of any faction. So again, tier 3 of every faction for the second slot, and tier 5 of any faction for the third slot. So you start off with one insured slot open. And the way this works is that you go in with a weapon that you put in your insured slot. It could be any weapon that you want. You can edit it in the gunsmith, whereas the contraband weapons, you cannot, edit them in the gunsmith. So you can put, all these different attachments and whatever else on your gun, and you put it in your insured slot. And what that means is that if you go into a game with this weapon and you die, you're not going to lose that weapon permanently. But what there is that's going to happen is there's going to be a cooldown. I think it's roughly an hour and a half or 2 hours, give or take, somewhere around that range. So you're gonna have to wait quite a long time if you want to use your insured slot again, your insured weapon. But again, you're not going to lose it permanently. But anything that's contraband from your contraband stash, and you get up to 20 weapons that you can hold at once. Now, if you have too many and you want to make more room, well, what you can do is you can actually destroy some. If there's certain weapons that are just garbage compared to other ones, you can destroy some to make some slots. So those are weapons. Again, if you lose them in the game, you're going to lose them permanently. Now, in terms of everything else, so that you got like another menu where you can go into your tactical, your lethal, your field upgrades. Those things you never lose. You have unlimited amounts of those, and for some reason, even after you set them and you die in a game, it still makes you reset them, which makes no sense to me because again, you're not losing them anyways. They're all there for you to have at, right? So it's all open for you. Now, there's other things that you can get, and if you exfil successfully with it, you get to keep for the next game. Things like a gas mask or a bigger backpack or kill streaks or self-revives until you either die or you use it in a game. Those will be with you always. And then there's keys that you can add to a small backpack, and that'll unlock, kind of more storage and stash that you can unlock and bring with you. But you have to find these keys and exfil with them in game. So that's kind of how that works as well. Now, like I said, going back to the in-game element, when you're actually in a game, I mean, the basis of this sounds cool on paper, but when you go into a game, there's a bunch of stuff that you can loot, right? There's all these different things like watches and there's just random resources like jumper cables and comic books, and they all have a price tag on them. But the thing is if you extract with them, although they'll count to certain challenges that you can do in DMZ, it does nothing else beyond that. Like it doesn't, there's no money outside of, I guess every individual match. So in a match, the only purpose for money is if you're collecting all these resources, you bring them to a buy station and you sell them there, and you can buy like weapons and things like a gas mask or kill streaks and different things like that, right? Equipment and whatever. So you can do that. And again, if you exfil with these things, there's pretty much no point to them except, like I said, there's challenges. There's these things called faction missions, and this is pretty much the biggest thing going for the game mode right now, is these missions will give you tons of XP. A lot of them, 7,500 XP. Some of them it's like even 10,000 XP. Some of them will give you contraband weapons, loading screens, calling cards. So there's some cool rewards to be earned through completing these missions. And a mission could be anything, right? So one of the missions, for example, that I have is like find and loot a computer. And if you do that, there's no purpose beyond that except using those, computer parts to sell in the game, and then buying something at a buy station. And again, it has to be within a match. Or, it's like extract for thumb drives. So you got to get thumb drives and then extract with them, which again makes no sense really, because it doesn't do nothing beyond that, right? It's just kind of like progress towards a challenge. But when you extract with them, there's no, overall money, right? Like Escape from Tarkov, you got a bunch of different kind of stuff you extract with, and they reset it every season or whatever it is, every whatever it's called. Again, I haven't played a lot of the game or any of the game as of right now. But the point is like it's so bland and it's so bare minimum. There's almost nothing really kind of going for it besides, okay, if you want to do some challenges for some quick XP or some, quick cool, like I guess exclusive rewards, like I said, calling cards, things like that, then great. But beyond that, I mean, it's just so bland and dull, and there's just like almost nothing to really do. There's almost no purpose in each game mode beyond just trying to complete these missions. And again, I get it's in beta, but it's so bland as of right now. I think it's going to give people, it's going to turn a lot of people off from the game mode. They're going to think that's basically what it is. And hopefully when it does get better, hopefully it does actually get better, then, a lot of people might be like, no, that game mode is boring. And that's kind of their first impression with it, right? So it's unfortunate that they kind of launched it with in this state, because again, it feels like kind of pointless. The only reason people are really going into it is to kill the chemist, which I got a video on my channel doing that if you guys want to see it, which is to unlock a brand new AR called the M13B, which is a great weapon, by the way. But you know, that was fun to do, but once you've done that, it's like, all right, well, now what? You know what I mean? I need more. I need kind of like something to go for. Like, okay, if I'm extracting with all this stuff, the only thing you're really getting from an extraction is weapons. I mean, there's nothing really more to it. You're not getting kind of, you know, better armor, higher leveled armor. You're not kind of creating a massive stash like you would in a game like Escape from Tarkov. And, you know, again, that kind of gives it like, it lacks meaning. It really lacks purpose and meaning in each game, in each match you play. And that's kind of unfortunate, because I think that they have like a very, 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 very basic kind of good foundation of an idea, but they need to greatly build upon it. And again, I get it's beta. They're probably, you know, obviously going to make it a lot better. But as of right now, it's a huge problem, and it's just makes the game boring and bland and kind of pointless. And you know, it's fun in and of itself, but it kind of sucks the life out of it when you feel like there's not a lot of purpose to each match. So those are kind of my thoughts. That's what I think the big problem is with DMZ as of right now. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you agree, first of all, that it's feeling bland and kind of meaningless right now, but at the same time, if you see the potential for a lot of fun. Because again, when my first few games, I had a blast with it when I was starting to get accustomed to it, but at some point you're just like, all right, well, now what? I'm just going in to basically extract weapons and complete these faction missions. It feels kind of purposeless. And I really hope that they develop this, sooner than later, into a place where the games actually feel like they have more purpose, and there's just a lot more to it, a lot more depth, and a lot more to kind of do. So I don't know. That's kind of my rant. Sorry, I didn't mean to make this video so long, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this one, stick around for more, and I'll see you guys soon in another one. Tell them, my friends, game on, and thanks for watching.